It's okay, I think.
Hi, Tom
There we
Stewart
go.
here. I'm with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Ajia Holiday, and this is Smart Business Moves.
Woohoo! And y'all,
Hello, hello.
it was not a very smart business move. Us this 1 minute ago trying to get on this call.
We were having some technical challenges, but we soldiered through, and we're here, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Well, you
There
know
we go.
what we call challenges, especially in the last quarter of the year.
Opportunities,
That's right.
Opportunities.
We had us some opportunities happening here that had Liz bouncing. Come on, let's go, let's go.
You know,
We're all looking at the clock. It's fine.
well, this time last week we were in Atlanta with a bunch of professional cleaning business owners who took a workshop, a 3-day workshop with us, and RJ Patel hosted it. Gosha Baring and Megan Likes were in. It freaking rocked, didn't it?
Well, Lisa, did you see her feedback, Tom? I mean, yeah, absolutely. In answer to your question, absolutely rock. But I think a great testimonial is what Lisa said. Did you see?
I saw it. What did she say?
Well, she has been in how many different coaching programs, done how many different events. She's been in a lot of stuff.
She's like, yeah.
She's done a few things. She's invested a lot of money. And she said that this event was only second to scale. It's the only event that she's had that even came close to scale. So, I mean, that is really saying something. We sold scale out 100% at the event. This event, we sold out. Currently, we're sitting at 80% of the people that re-signed up for next year. And y'all, that's another year out, right? People are putting their money down a year in advance. How good is that event when people are like, yeah, here's my $2,000. I'm in for next year. Hey, Don. Don's one of those people.
So this event was a 3-day workshop on basically getting your ducks in a row for 2025. It was about, strategic planning. It was about forecasting. It was about putting budget together. It was about putting together an action plan to kind of make all that happen. There's accountability meetings all throughout the year in 2025. This is going to be a big thing. This is going to be something that has legs.
Yeah.
And I met with somebody this morning that went to the event, and she could not stop talking about it. So it was Amy Smith.
Yeah, Amy Smith. Oh, we love Amy.
Told me she cried. Told me she loved it. That we had a great meeting this morning. So I got some firsthand experience from somebody as well.
Yay.
We did the rate. We showed her the rate increase tool, and she kind of lost it.
She sent some out today.
I know. I checked in with her this morning. She sent her letters over to me. She's like, oh, I'm nervous. I'm like, check on those letters. Get them out. Yes.
Yep. She said as soon as she heard back from you, she was sending them out. So
and she's making more money just by clicking a button. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
Oh my gosh. It's so hard overcoming that fear. So hard, and I don't think that most people would consider Amy to be a fearful person at all, right? I don't think so.
Yeah.
It can hit all of us, right? It just the thing.
And it's been years. It's been years since she's even considered it, and every time she did, she got scared. So it's just like, this is a big hurdle, and I love that.
I'm so proud of her. Oh. All right, she hasn't been at home a week. She's making more money. Yeah, she paid for her investment, both classes, with this one action.
One click of the button.
How crazy is that?
If anybody wants to sign up for next year's event, there is we call it an early bird. I don't know what we're calling it, but there's a deal that you can get if you sign up before the end of this week.
You probably want me to go get it, don't you, Tom?
Well, I guess I'm already signed up, so I'm good. But there might be some other folks out there that would appreciate having it.
All right, I'm going to go and pull it from Foss from yesterday. because we had it in the PowerPoint.
Oh, that's a fact. We did.
That'll be easy place to get it. I know right where that's at, because I feel like we have stuff in so many different places. It was on the PowerPoint, not on the link. And can I just share the PowerPoint with you from FOSS, Tom?
I reckon.
All right, that'll be good. It'll be easy for me anyway. So my favorite. Okay, I'm dun, 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 dun.
I was seriously whistling that while I was in the waiting room.
All right, private chat. It's going. I hope that was right. There you go, Tom. Did you get it? Didn't get it?
I think.
So y'all, just so you know, I want to make sure that it's really clear. This was not a matter of Tom not being prepared. I told Tom, go live, I'll go get it. And then I didn't go get it.
Yeah, distracted.
Yeah. I got distracted by
how cool this is.
Cute little hair too. I haven't seen it. I'm like, it's so cute.
Got a lot of compliments on my hair today.
When did you get it? Was it fresh today?
No, I've had it for a couple of months now. I think I got it done in August.
Oh wow, maybe having it up, really cute.
Yeah, everybody's liking the updo. So
hello.
I might do this more often.
Oh, you know what?
Hi,
I'm actually glad that we have Olu on here. Olu, your hair always looks amazing. I know she's always got the hair, right? Something going on there. I love those long braids with the wrap.
The braids.
Oh my gosh!
I think I'm gonna do that soon.
I want to flip them around. I see you flip. I know you're jealous too, same as me. I am really glad that Olu, you're on here. Tom is trying to. He's efforting right now to get the specials that I sent him.
Hey, Roxanne.
Hey, Roxanne Riffle. I love your name. It's amazing.
Okay. So I guess this is what we want to share.
Yeah.
And
remember how I said there were, I think we ended up with 3 people who did not sign up for next year. I'm glad that Olu's on here because he's one of the people that did not sign up for next year. So that is.
That's okay. He's got till Friday. You know, he wants to be.
No, I mean, I really, you know me, I'm all about transparency. And I love that it's not for everybody. You might not need this goal setting workshop. One of the things that I appreciated that Olu had said is one of the things that was powerful for him was at the end when we kind of recapped all of the different things, he's like, wow, I got a lot more out of this than I really even thought. And Olu, you came into it thinking, yeah, I want to be in support of this. I'm really big on this idea. I really love doing this, but you already have a pretty good system for doing your goal setting, your budget, your annual planning, etc. Right? Would that be accurate? So, and he still was like, oh yeah, I did get a lot out of it, but also recognizing that he is kind of stepping away and he can build a lot. He does build a lot of this on his own already. So I'm like, I love that. But other than Olu, we had 2 people who did not sign up and they did not know because they were on the live stream, which we're dealing with right now. So sorry about that.
You know what, Liz? I just got an email
that
had links in it.
Yeah. Who'd you get it from?
From Liz.
Yay me. Yay me. All right.
I bet I'm not the only one that got it though.
No, you're not. Everybody got it. Hey, Dawn, since you're on here, and I know you did sign up for next year, which I always am amazed not amazed, but I'm always, I guess gratified is the word, when people sign up for an event and a year in advance, knowing that they're going to get enough value and they're going to want the new and improved version. He's channeling his inner bulldog. Do you see that?
Yeah.
You got to pull that up. There you go. Got even more LOL. I love that. You want to tell us about the channeling the inner bulldog?
I don't know, probably has something to do with wrapping ham on it.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so funny. We're going to wrap it in ham. So if you don't know the wrap it in ham story, go to not another cleaning, not another cleaning group. Thank you, NACG. And Olu, I'm going to ask you to tell the wrap it in ham story for everybody in the NACG. But how weird is this? The day I got home, Tim had something on the TV. I don't even know what it was now. And I swear to you, they were talking about wrapping it in sexy bacon. Is that not the same?
It's in ham.
What? Sexy bacon. It's like, what's happening right now? I'm going to find out what that show was. How crazy is that? It was the very next day. So weird. I'm like, Olu, got to them.
And so any problem you have, ham will fix it. If that doesn't, go for the sexy bacon.
That's right. Sexy bacon is your second option. Oh my gosh. Wrapping in ham, Dawn. All right. Yeah. Not another clean group. Thanks, Roxanne. You're right. Hey, Dawn, you mind hitting us with a little something that you got? I know I want to hear about the inner bulldog too. So you know what's happening now? Tom doesn't remember what the inner bulldog is. Hey, Angela or Angie.
And Liz doesn't either.
I wasn't there. You guys had a talk, he said.
Oh, I'm sorry, Olu.
Poor Olu. He doesn't listen. I know he doesn't.
No.
See?
There's a lot of things. I got a lot of stuff to keep up with, okay?
He's busy. He's got a lot going on right now.
I could tell you a lot of stories about things Tom doesn't remember.
I can tell you a lot of stuff that he doesn't remember, but he just makes up funky stories, pretends.
No,
yeah.
No.
Ooh, he just never remembers.
Oh,
that's not true.
Tom, you gotta try harder.
I forget everybody, Olu.
Yeah, try harder. Yeah, he does. He forgets everybody, everything.
Okay, so we aren't here to pick on Tom today, at least not exclusively. There's other things on the agenda as well.
All right.
Ajia, so everybody knows who you are, so we really don't need to get into that. What do we want to talk about?
Yeah, so I really wanted to talk about kind of the critical role that technology plays in your growth, and really especially scaling. Growth can happen without technology, but scaling really requires technology. And I kind of want to talk about kind of the shift from traditional methods of operations to technological aspects of operations. I'm coming from, working at MaidCentral, but also just being somebody who has always looked for the technological out. I saw something recently that said like efficiency is pretty wrapped laziness. It's like gift wrapped laziness. So either I'm really lazy or I'm just really efficient, one of the two. But I'm always trying to find ways to make things more efficient, and technology just plays such a big role in that in operations. So kind of really talking about streamlining and automations for growth, data-driven decision-making, things like that are kind of the topics here.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the cool part about this is it's not about being lazy, but you get better outcomes if you're efficient because you can spend your time on more important things.
Exactly. So, reducing redundancies, things like that. Absolutely.
And you make fewer mistakes, you get higher quality, you're more consistent, you're making better jobs, you're providing better. It's a beautiful world.
Yeah. It kind of creates a full circle of everything that you.
It's a win-win-win.
I love that, Roxanne. We did a study on how lazy students were the most efficient. We're always trying to find the easiest way to our results. And I think a lot of times people look at the shiniest way to their results, not the easiest way. They're just looking at the next big, great thing and constantly jumping on the next bandwagon of something new. Whereas there's a there's an element of like, decision making in this, and making sure that you're not just looking for the next brightest thing, but the easiest path. And sometimes the easiest path is with the right technological solution.
But
Actually, most of the time it is.
there's a lot of value in this train of thought, though, because on the other end of the spectrum, people are creatures of habit, and we've all done this. Maybe not all of us. A lot of us have done this with various things in our lives where we're doing it the hard way, or a way that's harder than what we need to, because it's the way that we've always done it. It's almost comforting to us to do it the hard way. And people who spend too much time doing it the hard way aren't very productive, because they could be getting a lot more value created if they took the easy way.
Exactly. So, really thinking about, like, the first thing that comes to mind is on the quoting process or bid process. A lot of people, we're in an industry where in-home estimates was the big thing, right? Get your free, what's the phrase? Your free in-home no obligation.
No obligation.
Obligation consultation. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're
And
coming from
if you said that a dozen times a day, it would roll right off your tongue.
That's true, though. That is
right
true.
out.
Yeah, it is true.
Free in-home, no
surprised that we have
obligation
to
consultation.
I'm surprised that we have to stop and think about that now.
I haven't had to do that phrase too much. So, because I'm so technologically focused, that was, a easy adoption for me to kind of move forward on. But the real piece here is just like really coming into, you've got your in-home estimate, no obligation. How do you advance that into more technologically scalable method? And I see a lot of people actually kind of going back to that in-home estimate kind of hybrid right now for that human connection for some people. And that still can play a role in still being able to advance your outcomes or your close rates, quote rates, things like that, with the right combination of technology and in-home no obligation consultations.
Oh, that was good. Look at that. You're already rolling it off.
Natural.
That was good. Yeah.
So, really on that quoting side is kind of the first side that I really see advancements for people. Kind of taking things off of paper. I think that's we're walking in and we're doing a hand checklist, or we're just looking at a paper and saying, all right, this is your square footage. We're going to put you in this bucket. How do we make that more exact while also making it less work, where there's no human error capability, or the ability to say, man, they had a really cute dog and I really like talking to that person. I'm going to give them a discount. And really just kind of standardize the process a little bit more.
The old cute
and make it
dog discount.
The cute dog discount is a real thing.
It is. Or old person discount. Or I told Dawn that we're going to post all of this at the end when we're talking about this again, because she posted about everything. She talked to us about Gosha. She mentioned you. She shared what Megan did. Like, she put a lot of stuff in here. Good job.
Thank you,
Dawn.
Dawn.
You pay such good attention. So proud.
Oh my gosh. She has an amazing memory too. Have you guys ever witnessed her memory?
I mean, a couple of times, but not.
She has like a not quite photographic, but very similar type memory. So if you say, hey, Dawn, we talked about something back in May where it was blah, 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 or we talked about something in a meeting, she'll say, that was in May. And hold on just a second. And she will go and get that. Within like 3 minutes, she'll be, yes, Liz, you said da, 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 on May 24th in our circle meeting. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Tom.
That's great.
Totally serious. That is a real thing. I'm like, oh man. Oh, lovable kitty discount. Linda, why were you not at the goal setting workshop? You should have been there, chick. You would have loved that event. And going home with like such a strong plan.
Yeah, and having a good plan. I mean, I really loved the idea of the event that you guys just did, actually, in terms of kind of streamlining things and making sure that you have your process. I don't know everything that was talked about, but really getting a good full process together of, okay, on an annual, revisit these topics and then hold ourselves accountable to those topics over the course of the year and over the course of our goals. I love that.
You know, Dawn is a living example of what you're talking about, Aja, because she's always really been, oriented towards, leveraging technology to become more efficient. And
Absolutely.
she's very good with her own two hands, like building campaigns and building tools to make her business more efficient. But she's taken that to a whole nother level now. She's come to the conclusion to be the CEO of the company that her company needs. She needs to find other people to do those things. And she has found resources to do a lot of the technical stuff that she can do, that she used to do, but she's now delegating to other people. So she's
Yes.
10xing herself.
And also, yeah, the 10xing thing, that's a big part is, you want to build processes that other people can do. I use myself as an example often because I can come up with, something that requires the perfect amount of little detail or whatever because I created it. I'm going to pay attention to all those little details, but that's not the easiest path forward, nor is that going to be the best option for scaling because more people have to be able to do that activity. And if it's so particular, they're not going to be able to do it with the same accuracy that the person that maybe created it because they're just trying to do something fancy and shiny and move forward from that. So I fall into this trap often still where I'm like, oh, but it would be so cool, and then I have to step back and think about it and be like, oh, yes, it's shiny and it's nice, but it's not the easiest path and it's not going to give us the best opportunities for somebody else to do this action. And I keep coming back to sales right now because I see that as the one where owners kind of get stuck in doing the sales aspect because owners are going to have a better close rate, but they also tend to give themselves more leeway in changing things around, right? Whereas somebody who is an owner is not.
Yeah, they get the dog special.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're more likely to do the cute dog special than somebody who is not an owner. And so I really think that focusing on what's the easiest path forward, and usually that's going to be, within your current tech stack, or finding a tech stack that really works to make things easy and centralized. I just lost that thought.
Love it when that happens. Just
flew right away.
So I did want to comment on with Dawn. So one more thing. So Dawn has always been kind of, she was more headed toward execution. She was that's how she's anchored, all about execution and doing the stuff. But while she was doing the stuff, she could only get so far, right? And now that she has been passing off a lot of the action items, she has a brand new set of things to do that are actually going to grow her business so much more quickly and effectively.
And that's kind of the point, is that getting the owner into growth space and scaling space, where if you're constantly in the day-to-day operations or you're the one always executing, then nobody's considering your growth. What's next? It's not just you're the one constantly building the things and doing the things, but you've got to train people on them. You've got to hope that they do it the same way that you built it, versus saying, okay, these are the goals and we need to reach these goals. How are we going to execute this from somebody else so that I can keep thinking about the next step of growth, and seeing how those changes are actually impacting the business as a whole. So having somebody, the owner most likely, or the head operations person, I guess, looking at looking at numbers on a regular basis and knowing when something is out of line, and not being the person to fix it, but being the person to start the conversation on how do we fix this, and keeping them in track with what's the easiest way to fix this, not the most shiny way to fix it. I think I see this often with owners. There's one in particular that I can think of off the top of my head that they just constantly are making the easiest changes, and you can see it's happening in their growth, where it'll just be a quick conversation of, hey, we seem to have a lot of people canceling or not wanting to book because the initial clean is too much. Maybe we should just nix the initial clean fee for a little while and try it. Easy, turn it off, try it for a little bit, and if it's working, it's working. If it's not, it's not. But kind of making those changes while thinking about how is this going to be the easiest thing versus,
Most
oh,
effective.
well, what if we make this really big automation behind it? Like, that could be a piece of it, but it might not be it might not give you as easy of results as,
Or as good a
that
result.
first option.
Yeah.
Harder is not always better.
Yes.
You always talk about low-hanging fruit, Tom, right? Be picking the low-hanging fruit before you are putting your time, effort, energy into the other
And
stuff.
unless it's obviously a bad idea, try the easy way before trying the hard way. Most of the things that we get hung up with as cleaning business owners are reversible decisions. The consequences of how it turns out are relatively insignificant if it doesn't go the way that you want it to. And successful business owners, successful CEOs are prone to action. Rather than belabor it and try to figure it all out, just do something, try it. You'll learn something. And
Done is better than perfect.
absolutely.
And I love this, Kevin. Reversible decisions are okay. I might even take it a step further. Reversible decisions are preferred. Right? Let's get in there and try it. Let's do this thing. It's a reversible decision. Let's check it out fast now. Do it. And
almost everything that we're doing is a reversible decision.
So much.
There are very few are an irreversible decision, and I think that's the key piece here that people sometimes miss, is just okay, yeah, this is a big change for us, or even if it's a small change for us, I need to figure out every little detail before we even try anything. No, try a little piece of it first, or try whatever the easiest part of it is first, and it's going to build on itself, the next easiest thing and the next easiest part of it.
I think you do have to be a little bit careful when you're messing with people's pay. When your employee pay. But outside of that, man, there's just a ton of leeway. We were talking with Amy, back to Amy again. We were talking about price increases, right? And even that's a reversible decision. And in her mind, it was like, but it's not, but it is.
Even with pay, though, a lot of times we get hung up on things that we shouldn't. Mm-hmm. You've got all your incumbents who are working for you. If you want to make a change in your pay plan, say that we're going to do something different with the people that we start hiring today. And if you're like most companies, 6 months from now, that's going to be affecting a whole lot of cleaning professionals. And it's easier to adjust incumbents at that point because you've learned some things. So, you don't want to necessarily change everything across the board. Same with rate increases or changes of scope of work or whatever. It's like cleaning carpet. They always say test in an inconspicuous spot. Just try it a little bit, see what happens.
And you think about, like, there's so many different ways to think about those pieces. So many different ways to, I guess, start working on them. Oh my goodness, so sorry. I'm blanking all over the place here.
End of the day over there.
Yeah.
It is absolutely end of the day. I've been working with a lot of numbers, but
how many feet of snow do you guys have up there now?
Not any yet. We're solidly in the 50s. Per temperature.
Not too bad.
I didn't hear the question. I was like, what are we talking about? I missed it. Temperature.
Sorry, no, yeah. No, I was thinking about, gosh, what was that?
It's probably a lie, Aja. That's what my mom always says.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it'll come
Probably a
back.
lie. Like,
Keep
Mom,
talking,
what's
Tom.
wrong?
It'll come back.
I was thinking about your topic though a little bit, before we started, and in the context of where we are now in 2024 and the technology and how much easier it is and efficient it is to do not everything, but most things. Payroll used to be a career for somebody. Now it's clicking a couple of buttons. Scheduling used to be a career for somebody.
Yeah.
Now, like even for a large company,
It is still, Tom, for a lot of companies still have one person doing all of their scheduling, and that's their full-time job. That's all they do.
I should tell us how
I am
long did it take a big company to do scheduling?
I don't think any company, no matter, I haven't seen a company of a size that breaks this rule, but I would say 15 hours a week.
Max.
I'll even up it a little bit, 15 to 20 hours.
Right.
And I think those extra 5 hours is not totally necessary.
But for a lot of
But really,
companies,
it's like,
it's a meaningful amount less than that, isn't it?
Oh,
yes. I would say like 2 hours a day, 10 hours. I mean,
Yeah.
at max, at the max end, where it's like, where somebody is handling all the scheduling changes as one person. Roxanne is in my consistency class right now, and I probably say every class, scheduling is not a full-time job. It's just not. When you're using the right tools, when you have the right pieces of technology in place, there isn't a need for somebody to be constantly looking at the schedule. And if they are constantly looking,
no,
What?
I keep pulling it out. She's gonna be so mad. You got
What?
stop.
I didn't type it. I'm just, if Olu didn't want it out there, he wouldn't have put it there, right?
No, I'm sorry. You saw me 3 times. I tried to pull that off the screen, but the men
calling her out.
He's channeling his inner bulldog. I'm just helping him out.
I do have to agree though, Brielle. I'm sorry. Like if you're making it into a full-time job, yeah. I will say one thing. There is a time when it is a full-time job and it makes sense. When your systems are really jacked up, you do have to have it as a full-time job because you have to fix so much stuff all the time.
And so much is just in your head.
In your head.
Like the scheduler is just constantly having a constant stream of information.
Yeah.
I talk about scheduling dreams, where you're just thinking about overnight, your brain is just thinking about all the possibilities of what could happen on the schedule. And oh, Goja, you have 2 people. We gotta talk.
Are they both full-time?
What you're describing, though, Aja, some people want to do it hard. Some people enjoy doing it hard, and you can make it a full-time job if you want to.
Yeah, you can.
Company, Tom, how long ago was it that we went to the company that was still doing it all on paper? How big was that company? I guess in today's numbers, probably at least a $2 million company.
Okay.
And the schedule was all laid out paper on tables.
And the scheduler had impeccable handwriting and
my gosh,
number 2 pencil with a very sharp lead.
It was gorgeous. It was
and a worn out eraser.
A thing of beauty.
Oh my goodness.
Scheduling.
Yeah, thing of beauty.
I can't imagine.
But I really loved that part of the job. And so, this is a company that wanted to do that. But that was,
and I think that's part of it, is that schedulers enjoy some of the aspect of it, but they also are they're also the people in your office that tend to know the most about your customers and about your technicians too. And so having them scheduling as a full-time basis is underutilizing their skill set of their knowledge about your 2 of your 3 major stakeholders. We talk about our 3 stakeholders being the company, your customers, and your technicians. For your customers and your technicians, the scheduler, if you have a full-time scheduler, is going to be, they're going to know the most about those two stakeholders, and utilizing that in strategic opportunities is going to get, I mean, it's just going to help so much.
This is an interesting question that Gosha's asking.
I agree.
And, I, I have a thought. I'm going to share it this way. And I think because we've talked to a lot of MaidCentral partners, and the ones that have really high consistency seem to have low absentee rates, low employee turnover. And I know that you run an awesome business and you're growing at over 20%. So you guys are doing a ton of stuff right. But if everybody comes to work every day, and if your customers know they're going to get the same people back every day, if they don't change their schedule, they don't skip, and everybody just kind of goes to everybody and kind of runs off the master schedule. There's a whole lot you have to touch. It's really kind of an automatic thing. There's fewer adjustments that need to be made. So, all things being equal, the more technicians you have, the more homes you're cleaning, the more adjustments you might need to make. But if you're training, your customers and getting your technicians to buy into the fact that we need to be where we're supposed to be when we commit to be there, there's much less adjustment to the schedule that you have to make.
It's true, but it also means that, yeah, you're making, it's true. You're not going to have everybody show up every day, but that's okay. When the only changes that you have to make are the changes that are kind of forced on you, that's where you reduce the time. And here, Goja, I'll tell you this. If you're having two schedulers that are working on the schedule pretty much constantly, one of the things that I recommend for people to kind of reduce their time scheduling is don't touch it. Don't touch it all the time. You touch it 3 times, and then that's it. You touch each day 3 times, and it's, a week before you're setting it, a day before you're setting it with all the last minute changes, and then the morning, or with what changes have happened since you set it the first time, and then you're dealing with it again the morning of. What I see a lot of people doing is every single time something changes on their schedule, they're readjusting it. And
it's their job. If it's their full-time job, they're going to fiddle with it, because what else are they going to do?
Yeah. But the more that you're fiddling with it, the more you're messing things up for consistency's sake. And I can't speak enough about consistency. It is the biggest impact on your business. It impacts, I think, 10 out of 12. I can make a reason for 10 out of the 12 KPIs on how consistency improves those KPIs. At least 7 absolutely directly, and then the other 3, as far as the core KPIs go, I can make an argument for on how consistency impacts those. But that only leaves 2 of the 12 core KPIs that aren't being impacted by consistency. And your scheduler always moving things around is messing up with the consistency every single day. And it's also just making more work for your schedulers that isn't actually getting better returns.
Got a lot of stuff happening here. And
there's another thing that I see scheduling people do, and that is not making any changes. They get the information in, and then the morning of, they try to make all of these massive changes. So that's all they're doing is in the morning, they're trying to do everything along with dispatch. And that also is a train wreck. Everything else that they're doing, got to keep that master schedule in good shape, right? That,
yes.
I mean, once Kathy Gage originally presented the idea of a master schedule. Probably
was hers the boards?
Yeah, probably years ago, right? And that sort of changed everything for everyone. Then you took, I believe, Ajia, you're the one that first took her master schedule and put it into the computer, because it was not sustainable on the wall. I mean, she was barely making it happen, and then putting it into the computer, and then again going to, I think that's one of the first things, Tom, that you loved about Ajia was that master schedule.
It wasn't one of the first things. It just added it to the list. But we were at a workshop. I guess it was Native
August 2018.
Yeah.
And then that was the first time we met, but then January 2019 is when I showed you the master schedule.
And you said that you were working with Laura at the time, and Laura wanted you to give that to us so we could put it in MaidCentral.
Yeah.
Yep. She wasn't able to come to the event, and it was my first time traveling solo. So let me just put that out there. I was terrified. I had never traveled alone before. That was the first time I'd
It's
ever
kind of a
traveled
non-event
alone.
now, isn't it?
Now I'm just like, oh, I'm getting on a plane again. But that was the first time I ever traveled alone, and she was like, I want you to show him this. I want you to show him the master schedule and stats by week. What is currently stats by week in MaidCentral.
Okay,
It's called All the Things.
You're kind of freaking me out the way you sound exactly like her right there.
We spent enough time together, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I'll do that. And I remember pulling Tom aside and I was like, you should take a look at this. We should look at this really quick. And by mid-February 2019, the master schedule was in MaidCentral.
Yeah. And really that's a good example of, using technology to make big changes, because that one thing, using the master schedule, changed so many things.
And to put it into perspective of having done all 3 levels of technology with this one tool. So I had used the boards, and I remember taking a solid 3 hours to update the boards. And then a week later, they were out of sync. Nothing was right on it. And we were double booking things in the sales calls. So then moving it into the computer and putting it into a spreadsheet helped, but it was still so dependent on me to keep it maintained and make sure that it still looked pretty at the end of every day. And so that was another
and your memory. You had to
Yes.
rely on memory a lot still.
A lot of good memory of just oh, yep, we moved that person, and really going in and double checking every single change that we had made in the computer. And then moving on to having the master schedule in MaidCentral, where it's just a non-starter, where it was just kind of once a week I go in and I move things and I make sure that everything's where it's supposed to be, and that's it. And it turned into an hour and a half a week maintaining the master schedule versus 10 hours a week or 8 hours a week that I was spending maintaining it. Yes, success comes from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. I think I've shared this so many times, but it's if you're going to run a marathon, it's not about just going out and doing it. It's about running a mile every day. It's about doing small things. It's about doing the boring parts consistently to reach the big results. And yeah, there's consistency is just a big part of everything. Your master schedule, maintaining it, setting your schedules. Once you get into a good groove of it, suddenly you've done the thing.
What do we always say about good management? It's boring.
Good management is boring.
Yeah.
I get people all the time in the circles. They don't want to do Monday check-in, right? But Monday check-in is where you say what you're going to do this week, and you say what you did do last week. Right? Did I do the right thing? Did I do what I was supposed to do? Or did I just stay really, really busy? And people hate doing that. They're like, it's the same stuff every week. Yeah, because it's the boring, consistent stuff that makes
That's to the point, though, because staying busy is kind of like a drug, and you don't want to be efficient, because I'll have time where I actually have to do something productive. If I could just stay busy doing something mindless, I'm tired and the day is over.
Yeah. And I worked hard all day, so I can feel good about myself. I can go home and feel good. It is like a drug. Yeah. I'm glad you love MCI, Tanisha.
T spent the week with us in Atlanta last week as well. She had some breakthrough moments.
Did anybody not? I don't.
It sounds like everybody did. Honestly, it sounded. I mean, I heard a lot. I've heard a decent amount of good feedback, not just from maybe from other people too.
Well, I also think that the coaches got stuff. So I know, right, Tom? Yeah. We're in the back of the room, right? Doing our work back there.
Came back a changed woman.
Nice.
Oh,
I love that. That's not normally what we hear, but I like it. Yeah.
yeah. That's kind of a dirty little secret about this. When you're coaching and doing that type of work, you learn as much as everybody else.
Yeah.
I take notes every time we do an event. I mean, I've learned things at MaidCentral Academy before, and that's something that we've done 11 times.
Yeah.
And I still.
How about MaidCentral? Like, wow, I didn't know it did that.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
You do it how?
Learn something new every day.
What? That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have any questions about technology? Mostly we're talking about MaidCentral here, right? But we did also talk about, like with Dawn, how she's switched over from Keep to Go High Level. There are lots of different ways that you can use technology.
Think about CRMs like Keep or Go High Level, and think about how it used to be without that. I mean, you had to manually track leads, and most of us did a really poor job of that. Maybe we would do that in-home consultation. We might give them a quote, an estimate written out on a piece of paper, and it's like, if we can help you, call us. And that was it. There was no follow-up. There was no drip campaign. There was, if we clean your home, give us a call.
And then they would maybe email you, and you would be like too busy to respond to your email.
There's a lot of ways that you can, automate quality, surveys. I mean, we do that in MaidCentral, but quality driven, is an example. What is this? What is Olu saying?
Same piece of paper.
Oh, goodness gracious. There was a lot of paper. You know how many empty file cabinets we have out in the warehouse that I need to get rid of? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. I remember getting rid of the too. We do have to answer Gosha's question, though.
Yeah, so learning the consistency report, there's a consistency report in MaidCentral for anybody who is not part of MaidCentral. It seems like most people commenting are, but the consistency report gives you some data on your consistency. We've got your default team percentage, so how many cleans in that time period or the last 6 cleans were completed by the default team according to the master schedule. When were they scheduled at the default time or not? Those two I consider being our like our scheduling numbers, our scheduler numbers. Those are ones that we're looking at. Like every time that it's not being completed by the default team or at the default time is admin time that somebody is going in and moving things, that somebody had to go in and move this job. Yes, there might have been a reason for it, but there also might not have been. It might have been that, they were touching the schedule 18 times and they were just like, oh, this might look better over here.
Collateral damage.
Yeah, collateral damage. There was collateral damage.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 columns or other 2 numbers are cleans completed or unique technicians. So it's looking at the actual members on the team and saying, okay, sure, team 1 came to this house, all 6 cleans, but it had different members on it. It only had the same person 3 times, and then the other people on team 1 were not the same people that were there every time. So it's looking at that unique technician percentage. And then the last one is, did we arrive during the arrival time? And I like to pay attention primarily, or just like focus on, if you're going to be looking at this on a regular basis, I like to look at the default team and the unique team percentage. Obviously, all 4 of them can be used, but if you're trying to add this to kind of a weekly scheduling parameter or KPI to pay attention to, I look at the default team and the unique team percentage. Default team goal is above 70%. Right now, I'm hoping to see that number track up higher the more that we kind of are talking more about consistency and having that number available to people. But from what I've seen, the most consistent company that I've ever seen was at 89%. And other than that, I would say above 70% is a good number. And then we usually see about a 10% drop for unique technicians. So above 60% is a decent number right now. But I'm hoping to change the game on consistency over the next couple of months, where those numbers both bump up by 10% at least, as far as what is a good number to achieve. Because man, is it hard for me to like say in my outside voice that 60% unique technician is a good number, because that doesn't feel good. That's a D in my brain, and I can't quite get past that.
I hate
So
having
I
a
don't.
D.
Yeah, I don't want
Yeah.
a D. I want this to be much higher than that. But it's still a
Yeah.
fairly new concept. MaidCentral is the only software that has a consistency score of any kind, and
Yeah.
so I think it's a concept that we've been talking about all the time. But what does it actually mean, and how do we actually measure it? We're the only ones that are doing that right now, and I think it's great. But it also means that there's a lot of work to be done.
It's you know, at a high level, it's a pretty simple concept, but implementing it, you know, has a number of challenges, and it's not purely just a scheduling thing. It gets into culture and setting expectations, and you know, getting customers to think it, you know, look at things differently, and getting your technicians to buy into it. It's a process.
Yeah. It's funny that every time I go to start talking about things, it always comes back to consistency, because that is just it's the foundation of so many paths forward, is that consistency. And if you can't do it consistently, then it's probably not the right process. We need to
Mhm.
alter the process so that it can be done consistently without error.
And tagging on just one little thing around consistency for those of you that are like, yeah, but why? Why did this become such a big thing all of a sudden? It didn't. It's always been a big thing. Looking at DISC. So for those of you that have DISC assessment training, you know that the majority of the people that are out there in the world want some level of consistency. And they are thriving on that. There are very few people that don't want consistency now from other people. So even the people that thrive on being able to do what they want, do it when they want it, they want consistency from you so that they can go ahead and do what they want to do. So DISC even tells you a lot about how important this is to people. So it's huge.
I always say, whether you advertise it or not, your technicians and your customers are significantly happier when the same technician is seeing the same home on a regular basis. And it's also great when it becomes a surprise, when it's like, yeah, maybe we don't promise it, but guess what? You've had the same technician 3 times in a row. That customer feels it. And I've been getting more house cleaning services as a consumer recently, and I'm not one that cares necessarily. I'm one of those people that is like, yeah, I want to have my house clean. But I did have the same technician 2 in a row, and I was like, ooh, that felt good. That felt really good. I didn't think it would change my opinion of the clean so much, but it did.
You know, and technology makes a lot of this, you know, creates these opportunities for us. You know, back when we were scheduling off of a board and spending our day making phone calls, reminding customers that we're going to be coming out and cleaning tomorrow, and doing payroll manually. I mean, you're just fighting one fire after another, and forget about consistency. I just hope we don't, you know, forget to clean a home today that we're supposed to. And
Exactly.
we've got better data now. You know, we've got a report for that, and with the better data, we can do those things. And you know, the whole theme of what we're talking about here, using our time more efficiently on the more higher order things. This is one of the more higher order things that we have the time to do, because we're not doing all the administrative minutia.
And you don't have to remember every little detail and hope that you don't forget it, because
Because you will. You will forget.
you will.
Anything
will.
that relies on memory is not a system, y'all.
Yeah.
You've got to get out of memory. So, Tom, I was hoping you could pop up the specials there. We only have 2 more minutes to share here. And this was one more thing that Megan did. She gave us, she took 2 years of P&Ls, And within a few hours, she created customized budgets for every single person. So here's what
Wow.
you've been spending, and this is what you've been spending it on. And to get to the goal that you said you wanted, because that was done first, this is what you're going to have to do. Here's some changes that you're going to have to make, and here's the budget you need to follow. That was a game changer for a ton of people. Now, the reason why we keep talking about what we did this past week is because we're doing it again in 2026. We had such a rousing success that we're doing it again. There are two options if you would like to join next year. If you know that you're going to be better off with a plan that keeps you on track and keeps you doing what you know you're supposed to be doing, then sign up before the end of the day on Friday. And we have, like Tom said, we have a special. You can lock in the prices for this year. And you can also, if you'd like, break it down into 4 payments that you'll pay quarterly along with those accountabilities. All right. So none of y'all that have already been there, and I know I'm sharing from all of the people who have been there that were there before, and you guys already all signed up. But for anybody that hasn't been, don't wait. Don't be sitting there thinking, dang it, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Right? Do it now.
So
Even if you already have a process like Olu has, do it. You might find a better way.
Yeah.
Bulldog.
I know we did. Tom did. I did. Gosha did. RJ did. We're all making some changes. Also, one of the things that Olu gave us as feedback was also a game changer. He said one of the things that he thought when he saw everything was, oh Lord, not more stuff to track, not another spreadsheet, please, you're killing me. And there was like, okay, spreadsheet, and then another spreadsheet, and another spreadsheet. And so we took that information to heart and created just one thing that everything feeds into. It's going to look a lot like a software program. Won't be a software program,
Nice.
but it's going to look a lot like that to get all of your stuff. And you have one annual planning place that will track everything that you need to be doing.
We are at the top of the hour.
That is
means we are done for today, but we'll be back next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern. Ajia, you truly rock. Thank you so much.
You do. All day, every day. I will not be here next week, Tom. I'm going to be in Texas. I think I'll actually be on a plane.
Well, somebody will be here, and it's going to be really good. So come back.
Come on back, y'all.
5 o'clock Eastern. Till then, everybody take care.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
I forgot that I'm the one